The girl shoots. So I thought y'all said there was no possibility that Kelsey did anything, even though she had GSR on her. Okay, so new information has come out in the Tory Lanez, Meg Thee Stallion incident. You know, Representative Anna Paulina Luna went viral last week when she revealed that she would be revealing some information in 36 hours about the Tory Lanez case. That started all of the momentum we saw back into this story and proving Tory Lanez innocence. I covered the video that week, and I was telling you everything that I knew from my vantage point, but now Tory Lanez team and some folks, since Megan Thee Stallion also made a website explaining why Tory Lanez was guilty, they decided to release a counter website to prove his innocence. And when I tell you, this opens this case wide open. You thought you had reasonable doubt before. What you'll see in this video, you're going to realize they sent an innocent man to jail. So this is the testimony from a witness, the only unbiased witness there, Sean Kelly, who was a neighbor in the neighborhood, if you remember correctly, and was supposed to testify in the affirmative for Tory Lanez because of all the information they gathered before the trial, and then got on the stand and totally reversed himself, said some things that were just contradictory. Let's listen to what he said to the police the night of the event.
But no, it didn't. No?
They shot out of the car?
The windows were open, that's why it sounded like either way. Yeah, I didn't
know. They were on my side. The girl opened the door, there was two girls fighting, and then they shot. Okay. She got out of the car and crawled over.
Okay, he said the girls were fighting and then they shot. That totally changes everything about what they're saying about Tory being the aggressor, Tory being the one that was fighting, Tory being the one that caused all this. But oh, there's more. And this is what he said on the stand. What did you see next, sir? They were fighting. They had started fighting. The two girls? Yes. And when you say the two girls were fighting, could you describe to the jury what you observed, what they were doing, and what they were fighting about? Not about, but how they were fighting. They were pulling their hair and hitting each other, and it was quite violent. It was quite violent. This is initially when you still only see the two girls, correct? Yes. And what happened at this point? Was the fight continuing? Was it stopped? They were fighting for a while because I told my son to come into my room and I asked him to get into my bed and then they were still fighting. They was bent over, sort of wrapped in each other, fighting. This is Sean Kelly's testimony. Sean Kelly testified that two women were fighting and one of them fired the first few shots while Tory was still in the car. I know what they're going to say already. They're going to be like, oh, this is Tory Lanez manipulating things and he's got his legal team out here changing things. But no, this is what we all believed going into the trial. And we were all surprised. That's why everybody's mouth was on the ground when Tory ends up being convicted and being sentenced. He said Tory got out afterward and tried to take the gun away. That's in 9B. Okay, did you state, sir, that the shorter gentleman, that's Tory, didn't come out of the car until the initial shot, fireworks, had started? Yeah. Excuse me? Yes. So when the initial shot or fireworks had started, isn't it true that you stated that my client was still in the car? Yeah, I believe so. The shorter gentleman was in the car. Asking for double clarity. Yes. Okay. And did you state that initially you saw the two girls fighting? I did. Yes. Did you say that after you saw the two girls fighting, you saw one of the girls shoot? Sir? I believe so. But ... Thereafter, did you say that my the shorter guy got involved at that point, trying to take the gun away. Objection, leading. The court overruled. Is that what you said? The witness. Yeah. So they're basically pinning him down on what he actually said when he was originally, I guess, in police custody, or maybe in the initial phases when they were calling him as a witness. They were trying to figure out what really happened and what they were saying. But we all know that after 20 minutes with the prosecution, before he went on the stand, he completely changes his story. And that is something that needs to be investigated. What happened? Why happened? I mean, this is all alleged, but did something exchange hands? Was there a threat made? What was really happening in that room prior to him going on the stand that would make him completely change his story? But this is more of him. Sean Kelly's statement to an investigator. In a separate interview, Sean Kelly said he saw Kelsey and Megan fighting violently. With Kelsey, rear passenger, attacking Megan, front passenger. The driver, Jaquan, tried to intervene. He stated that a woman fired the gun while Tory Lanez, described as the shorter black guy, was still in the back seat of the SUV. There is no way Tory fired the gun 5 times. So why is he the only one who DNA was taken from? Why is he the only one that was on trial for shooting Meg? This is what we're trying to figure out here, because for so long it's been told, oh, you guys are just doubting because you don't believe women. You all are hating and misogynist men who hate women, and that's why you believe this. No, maybe we just have a little bit of logic in our minds. Maybe we just understand that things just don't happen. You don't fight somebody and then the person not really involved in the fight, that wouldn't have a motive to fight, just hauls off and pulls the blammy, the blicky. The blammy. What am I talking about?
The doors of the Escalade open and the girl come out and pull open the passenger door and started screaming and yelling at somebody in the car.
So the girl who came out of the passenger, you're talking about the front passenger?
No, the rear.
The rear passenger. So the girl comes out of the rear passenger and she goes to the front passenger?
Yes.
And she opens up the car door?
Yes.
And then what happens?
They're screaming and shouting at each other and they start fighting.
The 2 girls?
Yeah, I can see one feet coming out trying to kick her,
That's
and the other
probably
one's fighting, and then the passenger gets out.
So the girl who does the punching and the kicking is the girl that comes out of the back passenger?
The front. Can we stop there? Because I don't want to. I'll tell you, and then I want to go. My son's on his own.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't want
and it's loud with the cars.
I don't really want to. So basically, the car stopped. The girl in the back got out, started screaming and shouting, ripped the door, pulled the door open, but pulled it so sort of viciously. That's why I presume the driver got out. She starts screaming. She starts hitting the girl. The girl then had to sight her feet come out. She starts to kick the girl away. Passenger. They get out. They start fighting here. They start fighting. The driver comes round and tries to sort of break it up. It gets a bit more violent. And between them, the girl then climbs back in, start fighting. The driver comes round and tries to sort of break it up. It gets a bit more violent. And between them, the girl then climbs back into the front driver passenger seat.
Where's the shorter black guy?
He's in the back.
He's in the back of the car? Okay.
And
Tory's still in the backseat when the fighting kicks off. So they're fighting for a reason other than Tory Lanez is a crazy wild cowboy that's saying dance, bitch. You know what I mean? This is 2 ex-best friends fighting over a man. That was the only story that made sense. And we said that from the beginning. But for some reason, we get called every name in the book and not to believe us, but y'all gonna learn today, man.
Then the gun, then the girl shoots into her.
Those freaking cars. Let's just hear what he says again.
Then the girl shoots into her.
The girl shoots. So I thought y'all said there was no possibility that Kelsey did anything, even though she had GSR on her. Right? And it checks out that Tory had less GSR on him because after somebody pulls out a gun and the fight escalates to that point, if somebody's trying to disarm someone and they're still firing, there would be additional GSR on them. But I'm going to let him finish up this little short clip.
So the driver's door's open.
You're seeing the girl shoot?
Can I help you?
Somebody at the wrong address. Most
Is it this house?
worst time.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So you see the girl doing the shooting?
I see what appears to be the girl standing here and shooting into the car. That's what it looked like to me.
As I mentioned, a dude shooting anything.
It was dark, and I'm above, so. But then the guy gets out again from the back.
So what it sounds like is that the fight went out into the street and back into the car, or it started in the car again because they were stopping and starting up and down. Well, it probably starts again. And that's when you see somebody coming from outside in. I also think he got some details wrong, obviously, because I would say the bullets are flying in the wrong direction, because it wouldn't have been going back into the car, because there's some footage here that the police are actually showing, some body cam footage that shows that there were no casings inside the car. So, or signs of firing. So yeah, but long story short, what I see here and what I've been seeing here and what I've told my YouTube family here, all of you all out there that watch Faucette Media, is that there's always some doubt here. Reasonable doubt. That was all that had to be proven in the Tory Lanez situation. And somehow evidence is missing. You get people getting immunity, Kelsey in particular, and you get people reversing their testimony. If anything, Tory should be released from jail immediately and given a retrial. If anything, at most, he should be paid for his time that he's done in this case, because there are so many questionable pieces of this. And for all you naysayers out there that are saying, why didn't he get up and testify? I'm going to read you something. Even innocent people can be tripped up on a cross-examination. A nervous or inconsistent statement can be twisted by a prosecutor to look suspicious. If they have a prior record, testifying opens the door for prosecution to introduce damaging past behavior that might bias the jury. Defense attorneys often advise clients not to testify if the prosecution hasn't met its burden of proof. And I think we can all say here that with all these factors and Sean Kelly coming in to testify, so they thought, the state had not met their burden of proof. But somehow they were able to make that. They were able to complete the circle. If the state's case is weak, putting the defendant on the stand can do more harm than good. So that is the reason Tory doesn't get on the stand. Because from their eyes and from most of our eyes that were witnessing, that were getting the developments day to day, they were well ahead, well off into the lead. And getting on the stand wouldn't have done anything but cause more harm to Tory Lanez. So say what you will about it, but I think Tory Lanez deserves to be released, and if not, at least to be given a retrial or an appeal of something, like a pardon. At this point, there's so much craziness in this case. And then after the incident in jail last week where he's almost losing his life, this is insanity. And especially when your victim is unreliable at best in their storytelling. Anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. This is Faucette Media.